Hello everyone and welcome to Key West, Florida. This is a freeze-frame video production of the 29th running of the Key West World Championships for Superboat International. I'm your host Martin Sanborn from Talk Offshore. This is the big race of the year. All the teams look forward to Key West. Doesn't matter what discipline they race. They look forward to coming to Key West for all the festivities and the challenging waters that you have in Key West. This tape is going to represent the first day of racing. It's 3 days of racing to combine the World Championships. Half points for Wednesday, half points for Friday, full points for Sunday. The combined total will determine the world champion in each of the respective classes racing here. Here's one of our stock boats, Steve Quick Jewelers. These boats all feature the 2.5 EFI offshore marine engine. Next boat is one of our Cat 750s, an MTI with Paul Boudreau and Jay Muller going to be running that boat for the rest of the week. JD Byrider, Tony Marcantonio and Mark Kowalski. Also running in the Cat 750 category. One of our P2 boats, Team Unleashed. A 38-foot fountain with a pair of 525s. Running in the P2 category. Another one of our stock boats, Team Steel. This is a Doug Wright catamaran. Probably the most prolific catamaran you'll see out here running in the stock category. Big class of stock boats for this race in Key West. Ryan Beckley's Fluid Sealing Products. That is a skater. Here's Team Rum Runners. They're a local team, always run in Key West. Traditionally do very well here. They'll be one of the smallest boats we see running out here in the rough waters of Key West. Here's Talkin' Trash. Jimmy Winters, first time back after this boat was involved in a major accident. Got the boat all put back together, and they're looking forward to going out and running very strong in the Cat 750 category. You know, we've had some really brutal weather first few days here in Key West, and it's stacking the water up. Everybody's expecting a very rough race. In fact, SBI leader John Carbonell announced at the drivers' meeting the wall is back, what everybody traditionally calls turn 1. Here's CMS. This is a big MTI. Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, a 42-foot fountain. Peter Meyer and Johnny Stanch. This is Global Warmer with Dan Davies, and Dan actually had me running the boat with him this year. A 42-foot fountain with 525s in it. Dan new to racing this year, but not new to go fast boats. A beautiful view of Aquamania, one of the prettiest boats we're going to see out on the water. A turbine-powered 50-foot Mystic built in Florida. This boat very fast, here to compete heads up against the Team Geico boat. The boats are over at the cranes. J.D. Byrider in line to get lifted in. There's the leader of Superboat International, John Carbonell, for the 29th running of the Key West World Championships. Chief referee Richie. Fluid Sealing Products going into the water for testing. There's Team Fury, Ray Delaney, running in the 850 category. Something neat for this year, a couple of boats from Class 1 made it over from the Spirit of Qatar team, the Country of Qatar. This boat is driven by Sheikh Hassan, and Steve Curtis is on the throttles. Two different boats from Qatar, one naturally aspirated fuel-injected boat. That's what this boat is, number 96. A pair of Lamborghini engines in it. The other Spirit of Qatar boat has supercharged Sterlings in it. Made the trip across the pond, long trip. To get here to race in Key West. They've actually made a specialized class for them. Boats are just a little bit quicker than the 850s and the 750s. Not quite as fast as the Unlimiteds. So the Spirit of Qatar will be running in their own set of classes. Surprisingly quiet boats at idle. All the exhaust goes under the water. Strict noise restrictions racing in other continents, particularly in Europe and the Middle East. This is J.D. Byrider in the water, getting ready to go out testing. Listed as 800 horsepower CC performance engines. Mark Kowalski and Tony Marcantonio. 750 class boats all run a naturally aspirated single carbureted motor. The 850s all run the 850 Mercury supercharged engines. They run pretty close in speeds. Different RPM ranges give different top-end performances. As we watch the fuel-injected Qatar boat pulling out. Very interesting intakes on the top of that boat. That's how they control the horsepower on the boats, limiting the size of the opening. And the boats are out milling, getting ready for the start of Race 1. It was very rough in testing the first day on Tuesday. 8 to 10 foot waves. As John Carbonell said, the wall is back. Had a chance to go out testing myself, and it was very big out by turn 1. But Wednesday morning, it was very windy starting off early. And about the time the race was scheduled to start, a major front came through and just dumped rain, and as it had a tendency, as it usually does when a front comes through, it laid the water down, so it is dramatically more calm than it was even an hour before the start of the scheduled first race. Orange smoke, that signifies that they're within 3 minutes of the start. Boats all line up. Here is the beginning. As we get ready, these are the P2s. First boat you saw taking off, that was SW1 Capital. They run in the P1 category Super Sport in Europe. There is Global Warmer. Boat I had a chance to run with Dan Davies in Key West. First start was Super Stock and P2. That is Ryan Beckley in Fluid Sealing Products. Double Trouble coming up on the inside. Looking at our stock class out in front, you can't see him right now. That's Miccosukee Indian Gaming. Rolling Vengeance in second place, then followed by Still, who is at the front of your screen right there. That was the Muscle. There's Rolling Vengeance. Was Still coming up hard on the inside as they approach turn 1. Two Doug Wright catamarans, 2.5 EFI Mercury. That wake you see is from Miccosukee Indian Gaming. Gary Ballou and Paul Whittier, they are out in front. As the boats make their way around turn 1. Still makes a good move, closes off a little bit of distance on the inside. Gets about a boat length ahead of Rolling Vengeance. SW1 Capital. Our UK team, Powerboat P1 Super Sport, coming off of 2 straight wins in the European circuit. Kim Collins and Daniel Cramphorn. A Sterling-powered 38-foot Donzi. And they're currently in the lead in P2. In second place is Dave Branch. Dave Branch running with his son Clint. A 38-foot fountain. Here's Team Pumpit, a 35-foot fountain. Joey and Mikey Dacey. Global Warmer with Dan Davies and myself, 42-foot fountain with 525s. This is the turn inside the harbor. Turn 3. Took a tighter line trying to close up that distance on Dave Branch. Global Warmer currently in third place. As we look to the inside at turn 3, this is You've Gotta Have That. Another Doug Wright catamaran. Ryan Beckley and Fluid Sealing Products, along with Talbot on the outside. Double Trouble coming up to the inside. Makes a good turn on the inside. Fluid Sealing Products made up some ground on You're Gonna Have That. You're Gonna Have That running away from Fluid Sealing Products. Ryan Beckley and John Talley. Mercury-powered Skater. Ryan Beckley makes a number of the vinyl graphics you see on those boats, kinetic animation. Definitely much calmer than it was even at the morning drivers meeting, as Double Trouble coming up on the inside. This is race number 1, half distance, half the points. In Key West as we go on board Fluid Sealing Products with Ryan Beckley and John Talley. You can definitely see it's a little bit calmer. These smaller boats you would normally expect to see flying through the waves. This is onboard Fluid Sealing Products. Other boats in the Superstock category include Miccosukee Indian Gaming, Steve Quick Jewelers, Still, Talbot Excavating, Fluid Sealing Products, of course, You're Gonna Have That, and Rolling Vengeance. Mercury 2.5s just singing right along. You can hear them off and on the throttles as the boat's working its way through the choppy water. See the tie bar moving and flexing. Mercury-powered Skater. Fluid Sealing Products. Chopping the throttles coming around the turn. onboard fluid sealing products as they head back into the harbor. They just cleared turn 2. Double trouble coming up on the inside. A very powerful 35-foot fountain. A pair of 750 horsepower engines in that boat. He's running in P2 as we continue to watch fluid sealing products with Ryan Beckley and John Talley. You're gonna have that. Another Doug Wright. 2.5 EFIs. Double trouble is now swung out to the outside of fluid sealing products. Jacqueline Piper in the boat. One of the few females we have running boats here in Key West. High horsepower, 35-foot fountain. This is Team Talbot. Another Doug Wright. Kyler Talbot and James Anselmo. Here's a 38ZR running in P4 category, Randy Swears and Fastboats.com. Danilo Zampoloni from Switzerland in the boat with Randy Swears. A pair of 525 Mercuries. The deck configuration on that ZR is exactly what you get in the pleasure boat version. Laid out very much like a race boat for the general consumer as well.
Come to your right some more, to your right. See the marker, come to your right.
We're on board Fastboats.com as they come into the harbor.
Okay, bring her around. Okay, bring her around, you got it. Okay. Okay, you got it. Straighten her out. Straighten her out. There you go. Ok, questo è il primo giro che stiamo finendo. Okay, we're good. Per il meglio. Prendi di oi temperature is too much, huh? On both motors, huh? Yes. Okay, we just take it easy.
That's on board with Fastboats.com. As they're leaving the harbor, heading out towards turn 1 in Key West. Race number 1 of a 3-race format here in Key West. Half day's points today, half day points on Friday, full points on Sunday to determine the overall world champion in each of the classes here in Key West for the Superboat International 29th anniversary of the Key West World Championships. The 28-foot Velocity Team VR1. Steve Kildall running with his son Steven. Another father and son team running in P5. Back to Randy.